Hello students, today we'll discuss about the nature of dielectric material. So dielectric material in electric field can be viewed as a free space arrangement of a microscopic electric dipoles, a pair of positive and negative charges whose center do not quite coincide. So dielectric material is nothing but a free space arrangement of microscopic electric dipoles, pair of positive and negative charge whose center do not quite coincide. This is the dielectric material. So these charges are not free charges, so not contributing to conduction process, so they are bound charges, so can only shift the position slightly in response to external fields. Okay, so this is how the charges are. These are not free charges and these will not contribute to any conduction process, and these are called bound charges and only have a shift positions slightly in response to the external fields. Means dipoles can shift from one point to other point due to the applying of external fields. So all dielectric materials have the ability to store electric energy. This storage takes place by means of shift or displacement in the relative position of bound charges against the normal molecular and atomic forces. So dielectric material is ability to store the electric energy, and this storage can take place by the by means of shift in the relative position of the charges against the normal molecular and atomic forces. So like this you can store the dielectric material. Okay, so next, the mechanism of this charge displacements differ in various dielectric material. So as the charge it is there, no, you can get displaced from the one material to other material. So dielectric material, right? So one type of material we have is a polar molecules. Two types of dielectric materials are there. One is the polar and another is the non-polar. Polar molecules will have a permanent displacement existing between the center of gravity of positive and negative charges. Each pair of charges acts as a dipole. Means there is no displacement existing in polar cases. It is permanently displaced in between the two electric charges, right? The dipoles are normally oriented randomly, and the action of external field is to align these molecules in the same direction. So usually dipoles are normally oriented randomly, right? So but the action of purpose of external field is to align the molecules in the same direction. Now next we come to the non-polar molecule, right, which does not have a dipole arrangement until after a field is applied. So when until and after a field is there, then only a dipole arrangement will be made. The negative and positive charge shift in the opposite directions against their mutual attraction and produce a dipole which is aligned with the electric field. So what is happening here is negative and positive charges shift in opposite direction, right? So both will be in shift in opposite against the mutual attraction and produce a dipole which is aligned with the electric field. So this is a one polar and this is a non-polar. Now next, here we next go to either a type of dipole may be described by its dipole moment. So we already know what is the dipole moment. So dipole moment is equal to P is equal to Q into D. Now if suppose there are n dipoles per unit volume, then there are n into del V dipoles in the volume del V. So therefore total dipole moment is P total is equal to summation of I is equal to 1 n delta V Pi. So if the many number of dipoles are there, means you can have this equation. Now we can define the polarization as the dipole moment per unit volume. So P is equal to limit of delta V tending to 0 1 by delta V summation of I is equal to 1 n delta V Pi, which is nothing but what, NP, or you can call it as NQD. So this is P, capital P is equal to N, QD is nothing but considered as a polarization, right? The immediate goal now next is to show that bound volume charge density acts like free volume charge density in producing an external field. So now our next goal is to show that a bound volume charge density acts like a free volume charge density in producing an external field. We shall obtain a result similar to Gauss law. Okay, so we see next that now take a dielectric containing a non-polar molecules. So non-polar molecules means what? No molecules has P and P is equal to 0 throughout the material. So now here you can see a figure, a dielectric material with a delta S, a surface, and E electric field intensity. So you can observe a delta S is over the surface and half of d cos theta, which is making a with respect to half of d cos theta. So here somewhere in the interior of the dielectric we select an incremental surface element delta S and apply an electric field E. So somewhere you can take a delta S in the dielectric and we can apply an electric field E, right? Now the electric field produces a moment P is equal to QD in each molecule, so such that P and D make an angle with respect to D, right? So here whatever the electric field is there, it produces a moment P is equal to QD in each molecule, such that Pn makes an angle with respect to Q with respect to delta S. Now due to E, any positive charge initially lying below the surface delta S and within half d cos theta must have crossed delta S going upward. Means if any positive charge is initially lying below the surface delta S and within half d cos theta must have crossed delta S going upward, right? So any negative charge initially lying above the surface delta S and within half d cos theta must have crossed delta S going downwards, right? So this is two types of delta S, which is going upwards and one is going downwards. So positive charge will go and cross with delta S moving upward, and negative charge will have a crossing against delta S going downwards, right? So this is now you can observe here bound charges are there, positive, negative charge, right? Along with that you have to consider a incremental surface. Okay, so now next, for n molecules per meter cube, the net total charge, that is positive and negative charge, which crosses the elemental surface in upward direction is del of QB is equal to n QD cos theta dot del S, or del of QB is equal to n QD dot del S. So it is a cross product, so I can make it as I can remove the cos theta. Now the notation QB means the bound charge in term of polarization. So we have del of QB is equal to P dot del S. Now if we interpret del S as an element of closed surface, then the direction of del S is outwards. Now therefore the net increase in the bound charge within the closed surface is QB is equal to integration of minus over closed surface P dot ds, right? So therefore, seeing some similarity to Gauss law, we may now generalize the definition of electric flux density so that it applies to the media other than a free space. So we write Gauss law in terms of epsilon naught E and QT. So the total enclosed charge or a bound charge plus free charge. So QT is equal to integration over closed surface epsilon naught E dot ds, where QT is nothing but QB plus Q, right? So combining the last three equations, so we can get q is equal to qt minus qb, that is nothing but what, integration over closed surface epsilon naught e, qt is nothing but epsilon naught e plus p dot ds. Now we may define a d in more general terms, that is d is equal to epsilon naught e plus p. There is no added term to d when a material is polarized. This is equation for a d, right? Now next, as for the equations with the volume charge density, we now have qb is equal to integration over volume rho v dv, q is equal to integration over volume rho v dv, and qt is equal to integration over volume rho t into dv. Now with the help of divergence theorem, we may transform the equation into equivalent divergence relationship. So del dot p is equal to minus rho v, del dot d is equal to rho v, and del dot epsilon naught e is equal to rho t, right? So to utilize the new concept, so it is necessary to know the relationship between E and P. So this relationship will be function of the type of material which we are choosing. So we will limit the discussion to isotropic material for which E and P are linearly related. Now in isotropic material, the vector E and P are always parallel regardless of the orientation of the field. Okay, so therefore linear relationship between P and E can be described as P is equal to gamma E epsilon naught E, and D is equal to epsilon naught E plus gamma E epsilon naught E, where gamma E plus 1 epsilon naught E. So we now define this epsilon naught is equal to gamma E plus 1, where this gamma E is equal to electric susceptibility, a measure of how easily a dielectric polarizes in response to electric field. And also you can have D is equal to epsilon naught epsilon r E, that is epsilon E, so which is nothing but relative permeability. Next, in summary, we now have a relationship between D and E which depends on the dielectric material present. So D is equal to epsilon E, where epsilon is equal to epsilon naught epsilon r, and rho D is equal to rho v, and integration over closure surface is equal to d dot ds is equal to q. Thank you.